Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hi, Crem. I'm assuming we can all see and hear. Yes, no? I should have it on low latency, so there should be less of a delay between me saying stuff and seeing stuff in chat, assuming you're responding. If not, it's going to be a long wait. So I'm just going to proceed, assuming you can actually hear me. It is Valentine's Day today. Patron saint of epilepsy and beekeepers, amongst other things. Cool. Wet palette lid, yes. You do indeed see a wet palette lid. It's a dirty wet palette lid. That's because I use it to spray onto. So cool. What I'm going to be doing today is I am going to be turning my new chosen miniatures from the Eldritch Omens box set, which I have built, and I'm going to be turning them all into word bearers. They're not tonight. I'm probably going to be doing him tonight. Now my idea for these guys is he's going to be Chaos Undivided, or Undecided as I like to call it, and I'm going to do one for each of the Chaos powers. So he'll be Khorne, because he's very sort of rippy, slashy, raw. I think I decided on Slaanesh for him. He's got a kind of a goop gun. He was going to be Nurgle, and Tzeentch, because he's looks like he's wizarding. I wasn't too keen on this area here for Tzeentch, but you work with what you've got. Anyway, those four I'll probably do in a series of tutorials over the next couple of weeks. So that will be a thing that happens. How are we all doing? Are we hobbying tonight? Why are you hobbying tonight? It's St. Valentine's Day. You should be out keeping bees. Coffee fuel. Well, I am bushed today. I'll tell you what. I've had a streaming cold all day. I had a streaming cold all yesterday, which really annoyed me because I was supposed to be going out and playing some Age of Sigmar yesterday. So that didn't happen. So yeah, streaming cold. I don't think it's COVID, but I wasn't taking any chances. The test said no, not COVID. But those tests are not to be trusted. So I'm having trouble focusing at the moment, which is going to make life interesting, I think. So let's have a bit of a closer look at this guy. Weapon choice I've gone with is a bolter, power axe. Anything else on him? Yeah, bolt pistol as well, but that's actually moulded onto the legs. That's not an equipment choice. That's just there. So what we got going on here? That looks to be a lower face mask and flesh above that. Okay, cool. Lots of skulls, as one might expect. Pretty light on the usual filigree and edging and such that they normally have, which is merciful. I find there's two approaches to that. One is you spray everything metallic and block in with the main marine colour, and two is you spray everything with the main marine colour and sort of try your best not to go over the lines. Three, I suppose, is you paint the Iron Warriors, where you just spray everything metallic and do some hazard strike. But these are going to be word bearers. Now I thought I had a few word bearers. I didn't know how many word bearers I had. I thought it was a small force, and then I went and totted them up, and it's not a small force. I've got about 2,500 points of them. It's been a long time since I painted word bearers, and I have completely forgotten the recipe, so I've got a few example miniatures here which I'm going to be trying to figure out the recipe from. Obviously my painting style has changed somewhat as well. So, whether for the better or worse, I don't know. So I think that looks like corn red or something like that. A bit more crimson than corn red. He's a bit more crimson. Oh, I like that purple. Can't remember for world how I did that, but I reckon I could probably do something similar with the oil paints today. That's a decal over a decal. Happily no flames to deal with today. Yeah. I think what I've done here is I've gone over with they're not on all of them, frustratingly. Streaking grime. Just to grim dark everything. Yeah, I think that's that's not streaking grime. That's this stuff. I think this is before my streaking grime period. It's also before my being able to paint faces period, by the look of it. But hey, we work with what we've got. Oh, it really annoys me how there's Black Legion iconography over all these Chaos miniatures. It's just Chaos version of Ultramarines. So yeah, again there you've got the eye and the star iconography. But I thought that looked kind of word bearer-y, and they're sort of not on that one, nor on that one. Have I even got one with the right? No, I haven't. But one of their chapter icons, Legion icons, is a burning demon's head. So I thought I might do something with that. Maybe put some flames around it and all sorts of fun stuff. I'll leave that for the actual chapter icon, which I'll use a decal for. Now what I do with my officers is I give them a bit of a cream, lighter colour, sort of ash colour, shoulder pads and robes, which echoes the ash grey robes of the original priesthood that Lorgar used to set up on the planets they invaded. So that's a nice tie back. So I reckon I've rambled enough. Let's get some undercoat on this. Let's have a look. Oh, where are we? This means wrangling with Google again. Yay! Working on lots of CSM tonight, are you, Chapter Master? Right, which CSM are you working on? Any in particular? What's your Legion of choice? There we are. Matte black and an airbrush. Hey Google, turn on the compressor. Hey Google.
Alright,
Thought she defied me there. She didn't defy me. She's just taking her time about understanding me, which is fine. So, streaming cold all day. It's not been fun, nor as they call it around here, a code, because they're weird like that. Right. I've forgone my usual reading glasses and gone full dork goggles today, because when I say I'm struggling to focus on things, I really am struggling to focus on things. Especially with the nose guard in my eye like that. Right, let's give it a once over with the old matte black. Over everything. Give it a bit of a dry, a bit more of a spritz, more of a dry. Still got some paint in there, might as well get rid of all of it. There we go. Cool, cool. Right. Homebrew Black Legion. Nice, nice. Nice black colour scheme then. And that'll help with the old iconography that's all over the miniatures anyway. Right, this is well, I've used this before, so if you've watched any of my streams before, you'll be familiar with this. Vallejo metal colour, duraluminum. You can mix inks with this and all sorts. Really, really good paint. Really, really strong pigment. Give that a bit of a shake down, and I think what we're going to do, seeing as I'm now committed to it, is I'm going to do the all over metallic. Oh, what's going on here? There we are, metallic coming out there. All over metallic and blocking the coloured areas. Right. You don't need to give it too much because this stuff really means it. See, if I were doing Iron Warriors, this would be half done by now. A bit on that. Anything else owning up to being metal? Ah, yes. Anything on there being metal? Let's give it a spritz anyway, whatever. Mainly so we can see what we're doing with it. Wow, okay. Metal everywhere. I guess we've got a silver cloak today. We'll sort that out in a bit. See how that's a really nice sort of metallic colour and white. Quite why I love this paint. It made the gun's metal. Come on, move. Quite why it made my Grey Knights so easy, because it was basically that, and then over it with let me find it. I don't actually need to find it, because you're not going to know what it is anyway. I mixed up something as an armour wash. Is it that? No, it's not that. Was it that? Yes, it was probably that. Yeah, sort of a... There's all sorts in there. Army of Painters blue ink and other bits and bobs. And you just wash it over the entire armour and it just turns into Grey Knights. Brilliant. Dead easy. I'm all about the dead easy. Oh yeah, the narrative event. Yeah, I have to maybe get a ticket to that at some point. That's the next month thing, then I can start worrying about that. Start worrying about increased energy prices as well. Oh, Oh, it all makes work for the working man to do. Right, okay. So I'm committed to doing the edges and then blocking in. So let's block in. Let's start with what I'm probably going to do is use the colours for, if not the technique for my. Have I got any of them here? Nope, I haven't got any of them here. I need to go into the other room, and I'm not doing that. Come on, brain. Blood ravens, which is that and that, and yeah, basically that. So we'll block in with a bit of Rhinox hide. In fact, no, let's not. Let's be crazy. I want to see. I want to be under the sea in an octopus's garden. In the copyright strike. Let's try some army painted crusted gore, which should be a nice deep crimson colour. Right, okay. Let's get a bit of water in there. So a bit of water, not all of the water. I'm good at this, Jay. I really am good at this. Right. Well, that's not going to cover anything, is it? That's useless. Army painter, you've produced a useless paint. Because one of the problems with painting things this way is you need to get the coverage over the metallic paint, which is occasionally a little bit problematic. And as you can see there, that's just not doing anything, is it? No, that's where Citadel base paints actually come into their own. They're one of the leading paints on the market for this, I'd imagine. These really do have some coverage. So I'll return to Old Faithful. I'll try and mix a bit of that Rhinox hide in with some of that crimson gore, just to give it a bit more of a ready crimson-y hue. Tissue and get that off. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything. Number 3 brush. Neat as you can. I think this is probably the easier way of doing it. But if you do choose to do it the other way and go for the trim, block everything in with the main marine colour and then go and do the trim, the best thing to do is go in with the side of your brush. You're less likely to go over the lines if you do that. Once again, I'm not a professional painter. I'm not a lawyer. I'm definitely not a lawyer. I'm certainly not a professional painter. Fast and effective is the name of the game. So if there's a cheater way of doing it, I will do it. And I like to think my lack of experience and lack of pretense, for want of a better word, makes my stuff a little bit more accessible to newer painters. I don't need the airbrush on anymore, do I? Hey Google, compressor off. So that's the basis of my.
Turning off compressor.
Yeah, thank you. That's the basis of my channel. Providing painting tips for the permanently confused and the new painters. in the hopes that I still speak your language, because I am also perpetually confused. Although not a new painter anymore. So still trying to remain quite neat, as neat as you can be. You can butt right up against the trim without too much fear. And if we do go over the lines at any point, we can just leap in with a little bit of metallic paint later and just touch up. So how's your Valentine's nights going? I mean, what are you doing watching me for a start? I've got literally nothing better to do than this on my Valentine's night. No bees to be kept, no epilepsy. Imagine, Mick, you've got me on the telly or something, is that right? What about Kev, you here? Who else watching? I can't even see how many people have got watching. 7 whole people, wow. And I've only been going half an hour-ish, less than that. 7 whole people, it's almost a record. Tell you what else is almost a record. Laserdisc. Remember them? Oh, do like me a bit of shadow rum. I must admit, that's one thing I do miss is getting around a table with some friends and being silly with dice. I mean, that wasn't really a thing before lockdowns and pandemics hit, but I do miss it. I find that things like Roll20, if you're not familiar, it's Roll20 is a web-based role-playing game platform that facilitates pen and paper dice role-playing. It's not quite the same doing things over webcams and such. I'm sure you agree. Something about getting round a table and being silly with some friends. So we're making some headway here. These guys are so fiddly there, even when you're blocking in the main colour rather than the trim. Especially we can't actually tell what's trim and what's armour. Sorry, I keep lifting the miniature away from there. You can't see anything what's going on, but then I kind of need it out of the way so I can get at the paint. It is the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. You can like it, or you can lump it. One of these days I might do a talking head style broadcast thing, but I really do have a face for radio, so I'm reluctant. But if and when I do that, there'll be no moving of miniatures out of shot. Everything will stay in shot. And things will look really neat and professional. Yeah, right. What's going off there? Oh, okay. 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 Yeah. So it's actually a gauntlet over the armour there rather than two bits of armour forged, fused together to look like a gauntlet. That's quite cool. He says, knocking the camera. How's the focus for people? Because obviously I can't, because I've got my dark goggles on, I can't actually, well, if I look up I can see there's something on the screen, but I can't tell if it's in focus or not, which is really unhelpful. These dark goggles, by the way, much maligned though they may be, are really helpful, especially if you are, how should we put this, in advancing years, as I am. I suppose we're all in advancing years, aren't we? None of our years are retreating, let's face it. But some of us have been campaigning longer than others. Just as a thought, have you considered doing much MDF terrain stuff, and would you consider that a suitable project from Monday night? Focus is fine. I'm glad that the focus is fine, that's good. MDF, I've certainly seen it. I've considered getting some from people. Who's good for MDF terrain? TT Combat. TT Combat's good for MDF terrain. I've certainly thought about getting some. And yeah, if I ever do get some, I'll most definitely be having a go on a Monday night with some of that. The problem with scenery, as I found when I did some scenery, is that it's a bit big for the limited space here. So if I could figure out a way of putting the camera a bit further away and getting a wider shot, that'd be much easier, but it's certainly something I've considered. Right, I think we're almost ready to start the next layer. Almost. Uncertain scenery. I've never heard of them. I'll have to have a look at them. Get a bit of Rhinox on the backpack, I think. I'll get a bit of that in there as well. I think we're probably going to get some bone in there as well, because that's 100% a spine. Let's try brush this on, couldn't we? Pick out the detail. Let's try that. So what else was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about the community, such as it is, because I've got, in theory, I've got like 70 odd followers now. Lord alone knows how or why, but I have. So I've decided, rather than clogging up, say, Hi Paul's Discord with my adverts for my YouTube channel and stuff, I would start my own, mainly for the purposes of advertising my stuff and also interacting with the community and giving painting tips and receiving painting tips, because I'm sure there's a load of you out there that are much better than I am. So yeah, at some point, a little bit later, I will pop up on the screen a URL I pop it in chat, but bots are a thing, and I don't really want them harvesting the URL and me ending up with a load of bots and spammers in the Discord. So it'll be a 7-day invite, as in the URL will last for 7 days before becoming invalid again. And next week I'll put up another one, which will be a 7-day, and we'll go on like that. I'm anticipating it being a small but cosy community, shall we say. Yeah. I see what you're saying there with the large flat spaces. Certainly can be an issue. Got a few ideas to how to deal with that, but it really does depend on the texture you're trying to create. If you're doing concrete and stuff, so I'm just going to put a bit more water on my wet palette because it was drying out a bit under the light. But I've seen people do wonderful things with flour and water to create texture of concrete and such, which gives it something for dry brushing and things to key off, so you get an awful lot of texture that way. Plus, there are, if you search for them, there are any number of posters and flyers and propaganda things available for you to download and print. Hail the Emperor and such, and they look really good if you cut them out and just glue them on, or so they can be used to liven up an otherwise flat surface. Mod Podge as well. Mod Podge is really good for adding texture and interest. Or decorator's caulk. Or yeah, what's that? This stuff. It's quite good. Still don't know what a wall turtle is, but apparently they get cracked. Right, so there's the Rhinox hide down. The Rhinox is a nice sort of reddy brown colour. So he's sort of chocolatey goodness. So if you start getting, in fact, that crusted saw stuff, I'll probably go over the top of that quite nicely. Just give it a bit of squeeze. See if it works. I mean, it still looks a bit not going to cover anything here. Nah, useless. Useless. Right, well, the base colour it is then. One corn red. So a bit of that out. Stick it there. Lovely, as they say, a jubbly. Let's get a bit of water in there as well. Thin your paints. Always with the thinning of your paints, but not too much. Never too much. Especially if you need to cover over metallic with a matte finish. Otherwise you won't cover anything. But you do need to thin your paints. There's too much paint on my brush, but you know, I'm past caring. Now this, what you're aiming to do, I mean, you can leave a little bit of the Rhinox around the edge, so you don't even need to butt this up against the trim. You're just blocking in that colour. And if you can be a little bit rough with this as well. If you've seen my Blood Ravens video, I go in with stipple and use a stipple technique for this to give it a grim dark feel. So, as you see, you can be a little bit messy with it, but not too messy, otherwise you do things like that. So wet brush, straight over the top, forward the brush. There we go. Problem solved. Hi Jamie. Right. There we go. And I've gone and made the same mistake again, but frankly I don't care at this point in time. Yeah, just dab that in there. Again with the blocking in colour. And it will create a natural sort of blend. But I'm going to be using a really good paint to bring everything together in a bit. I would recommend that you get some of these. I mean, they're not the cheapest paints in the world. They're really not. But in terms of what they bring to your arsenal, your painting arsenal, other football teams are available. They really are invaluable. And they're really good quality paints generally, but this specific range are really quite good for tying things together and doing things. Because straight out of the bottle they're almost like a thick glaze. So you see, I'm not being particularly careful here, but I am leaving that silver trim around the edge as much as possible. I mean, it's starting to look like, to a quick side by side, it's starting to look similar already, isn't it? The added advantage of not being too neat about the the application and going right up against the edge of the trim with this lighter block colour is it gives the impression of age on the armour. Now, I'm assuming you're all familiar with the lore of the Chaos Space Marine Legions, but they have been around an awfully long time, and if the Marines inside the armour haven't, the armour itself certainly has. So it has seen its fair share of action, and it has not it's kept in working order because it has to be to protect the Marine inside, but they don't tend to care too much about keeping the colour of the armour pristine at all times. So you will get chips and scratches and fun stuff like that occurring. I'll mess that up a bit. Nothing I can't fix a bit later. And it just gives that sense of age and weather. And grim darkness, which is my bag. I do like the grimdark style, to the point where, having tried to paint relatively clean recently, I found that I can't quite do it anymore. It always comes out a bit sort of slightly grimdark, so I'm just going to lean into it now. I mean, you might have seen on my Facebook page that I tried to do a Tau, and he's weathered and horrible and nasty, and I was trying to paint him clean. So this is my lot now. This is who I am. Don't paint that. No. And that link, by the way, I'm just going to put that up at random at some point, so you're going to have to pay attention. Sorry. I mean, that might not be something you're interested in at all. You might be in more than enough Discord channels, and I quite agree, because I am. But, you know, I find it's better for talking to people than Facebook. And it offers up the opportunity of actually talking to people with voice comms and things, which is fun. Because I know in, say, Hi Paul's Discord right at the moment, Chapter Master Lexicus and some of his closest minions will be chatting away in one of the chats, one of the voice chat channels, and having a whale of a time. And that's kind of what I want. But at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from Paul's channel, because he's a fantastic individual, really top notch, and if you're not subscribed to his channel, honestly, what are you doing with your life? So that's Say Hi Paul. Look him up on YouTube. Seriously, if you're at all into your narrative or that side of gaming, he is. He's got a style similar to mine in terms of he's very rambly, but he's all about the narrative, all about the narrative focused gaming. He does bat reps and hobby vlogs and all that good stuff, product unboxings and Codex reviews, because he's one of that secret cabal that get the products early. All that good stuff. And thoroughly top bloke as well. Well worth your support. Right, are we now finished? We're now finished with the cornbread. Good heavens. Oh, scritchy scratch. If I were less of an animal, I would have done that off camera, but yeah. I'm human. And I need to be loved just like anyone else does. And copyright strike. I think there is a limit for the amount of singing you can do on a channel. And I think it's like 30 seconds if it's not your original stuff. So I think we're probably alright. If not, well, this channel's doomed before it's got off the ground, really. Oh well. I sing, it's what I do. I paint, I sing, and I know stuff. And I paint my ear apparently, because that's what I did just then. I went to scratch my ear, realised I got my paintbrush in my hand, and now I have a cornred ear. What's an old painting, ladies and gents? What's an old painting? We can't all be Duncan Rhodes. Let's face it, if you wanted Duncan Rhodes, he's got his own channel. And why would you be here? Seriously, why are you here? What is the attraction? I mean, I'm joking, but that's actually a genuine question. I'd like to know what people see in this channel so I can do more of it. And less of the people, less of the things that people don't enjoy so much. Because that's how we grow, as people and as YouTubers. Not that YouTubers aren't also people, but sometimes they're not. That's a bit thick. That's a bit thick. You know what else is a bit thick? Me for doing that. But we can bring all this together in a bit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. As they say around here, it'll be right. That'll be right. I used the term Bob the other day to the confusion of many. I forget how acclimatised I've become to the Midlands. Bob, if you're not from around here, as many of you won't be, means a little bit of rubbish. Or thoroughly rubbish, depending on the venom with which you say it. Tasty, tasty paint. Ooh, what have we got going on there? I didn't see them. Did you see them? If you saw them, why didn't you tell me? Those things. Those things. They're like tentacly things. Oh, those are weird tentacle pipe things. Ugh. Oh, do you know what else I didn't do? because I'm a muppet, I'm going to do it now. I was concentrating on the red areas and I forgot that Rhinox hide is also very, very useful under cream. Not literal cream, cream of colour. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to cover this in dairy product. Although, so get that around the edge. And as the cream colour I'm going to be using is also a base colour, it'll be fine to leave the middle. Again, this is a technique I use on my blood ravens, because apparently they've got the same colour shoulder pads and the same colour armour. Who knew? It's like I found a recipe that worked, and now you know. Right, you get in there with your own bad self. Probably won't get flames on that. I might. I'll give it a go. Give it a go, because all it is a little bit of blending. We'll see how we go. I've got to be up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning, so I'm not going to leave it go on too late tonight. But we'll see where we get to. And if not, what I'll do is I'll post up pictures in the new Discord channel. I will post up pictures of what I didn't quite get round to. No, leave them alone, stay on target. Put that away. Right, where are we at? Where are we at? We're at, oh God. It's important every now and again, I am finding, to just stop what you're doing, hold your thing at arm's length, your miniature. You can hold your thing at other things at arm's length if you want, but you know, family channel. And just get a sense of what you've done and what you haven't done. What I haven't done under there is I haven't put any of the Rhinox hide down. But you know, it's out of sight and therefore out of mind. How's that looking? Looking alright, isn't it? Alright. Okay, cool. Right, what do I need now? I need not that. Do I need that? What's that? Do I need it? Yes, it is that. And I do need it. Corvus Black. Corvus Black, as anyone who's familiar with the line knows, is not black, which is its very useful feature. Because it's not black, it can be used for painting black. I also have a video on painting black, in which very little black is used. Some blackish colours, but no actual black. Reason for that being, if you look at something black, anything black, some black paint there. That's black, definitely black, except it's not. There's blue in there, there's some red in there, there's some reflections from other things around the room. It's not black. Better example, the cap on that, again, not black. It is, but it's not. You can use black for shading your black and getting into all those deep recesses. But black should never be your mid-tone, because you can't go any blacker than black for shading if that's your mid-tone. So your mid-tone should always be a dark grey, like this. But once it's down, it's functionally no different to black. Some in there as well. But because it's also a base colour, it's got good coverage, which means it goes over the because I'm just knocking this camera left, right and centre, aren't I? I can feel it. Get the black in there. Get the black in there. And his face grill as well, I think. It's going to be black. Oh, we've acquired some moisture from somewhere. I don't remember putting that in there, but never mind, we needed it. We needed that moisture. Moist is good. Especially on Beekeeper Day. One day I'll stop knocking this and things will stop shaking. Like that, you see. I'll stop doing that. I can knock it with my head as well, look. It makes things go wibbly, like that. Do you know what, I'm not even going to bother with that yet. I'm just going to ignore that, pretend it's not a thing. Let's get some black in there as well. And some black, and some black. I don't know what I'm doing with this cloak yet. I might try that purple. Let's have a look at that purple again. What was it on you? Yes. Okay, that looks like what does that look like? Oh, it looks like that might be Corvus black with some purple over the top of it. But I don't know what purple I've used. So we'll experiment. Every day is an adventure. Oh crap. I mean, oh bother. Oh bother. Ugh. There's no kids watching this, are there? I think there are worse things I could have said. And whereas the sound of me swearing might be a shock to some people watching the channel, I don't think so though. I'm sure any kiddywinks watching the channel will have heard worse at school. No excuse though. I try to keep it mild and PG-13. Pretty sure that word is a PG-13 word. I forgot all about this cloaky, tabby, loincloth type thing, which I'm going to do in a creamy grey. So it does need that base coat. Okie dokie. get our cream going on. And for that, we're going to use old-fashioned Wraithbone. Wraithbone's got decent coverage. Crazy coverage if you've got the right bottle. Palette I've used for sniffing into the microphone, but as I said, I have a heck of a cold at the moment. I'm surprised I've not been sneezing. Which has of course doomed me. Again, you don't have to go right up to the edges of the trim with this. You're just laying down some colour. This is going to take probably 2 or 3 coats, but it's 2 thin coats. Let's get some fresh medium going on. Green Stuff World Master Medium, which will dilute things without reducing the pigment density too much and without breaking down the properties of the paint. So it's really useful. So you get a bit more flow to your paint without losing too much coverage. Just get that around there. Again, leaving the Rhinox hide in the very edges. It doesn't need to be too neat. It's chaos. And this is only the first coat anyway. I'm going to go over this again. I'll say 2 or 3 coats will do it. Because Wraithbone has crazy coverage. Normally. Of course, it's going to call me a liar now, isn't it? It's going to make me a liar. Right, let's get that all Wraithboned in as well, and that demon skull, because that's going to be not metallic when I've done with it. It'll probably end up being some sort of bony colour. Maybe not. Maybe not. I might go black with it. I may go black with it because that's the colour of the demon face and the chapter emblem. So that might be a thing that happens. You can see I'm not really being neat with this at all, but it's fine. It's fine. My gold standard is if you hold it at arm's length and it looks okay, it doesn't look like it was painted by a gibbon, that's fine. Generally the way to do that is to get plenty of contrast in there so you can see the contrast between light and dark. Overdo the contrast even, so you get a sense of the detail on the miniature from a distance. The world seems... No, I'm not even going to go there. Nobody needs Cliff Richard. Especially not tonight. I think it's even a Christmas song, so you know, I'm doubly damned for that. I think I've over diluted this paint. I think that is a thing that has happened. It is an upsetting thing that has definitely happened. I've over diluted my paint. It just goes to show that even rank amateurs with delusions can get it wrong. There we are. That's getting a bit more coverage. So I was just looking at something on the other screen. Had me fascinated for a moment. There we go. Sort of creamy off-white with loads of dirt around the edge, which is what we're going for. He has a face, like most people. And I'm doing this to remind myself of that fact, that this is not helmet, it is face. And I'm going to reveal my ignorance of the law, because I cannot remember what the name of the homeworld of the word bearers is. But when I've seen the word bearers described in books and such, and the homeworld described, it is a desert planet, or certainly arid, and the inhabitants have a kind of a darker skinned, dusky complexion. But, and put the wraithbone there for the time being, just to remind me that it's flesh, as I've got the wraithbone in painting. So what we'll do is we'll reach for the contrasts in a bit, because there is a paint that I use for dusky complexions, which usually comes out quite well without looking unnatural. Hey Chris, how you doing? And your starter for 10 is, what's the homeworld of the word bearers called? Let's get that. Loincloth. Loined. See, with the rhinox hide under there, it's almost doing half the work for you, which I'm all in favour of. I haven't reached my trusty contrast paints yet, which may be interesting and alarming to some. I don't always use them. They're a tool that does a job, and if you don't need that tool for that particular job, it's best to try not to avoid becoming reliant on them. But the technique I'm using is fairly similar. I've gone with a matte black base, matte black primer, and a metallic zenithal rather than a white ink zenithal, which I would usually go for if I was doing contrast paints. And because I've gone with the metallic zenithal, kind of precludes using contrast paints. Not all of them. Some of them do work well over metallic, but you get a very different finish. Let's get that skull down. wonder of this approach is you really don't need to be too neat, because you're using the undercoat to create areas of shadow. Yeah, that's a weird demon's head on his other leg, isn't it? So nobody's found out who what the word bearer's homeworld is yet. You failed me. Cultures. Well done. Well done. Thank you very much. Spoke a moment too soon. And it is, if I recall, a desert planet, yes? Or similar? Oh, those things. I completely ignored them. I even pointed them out, and then I completely ignored them. So they're getting a once over with the thingy, bleach bone, wraith bone, bleach bone. Late 80s called. They want their paint range back. I remember bleach bone. It was one of the better tasting paints. Not as good as Goblin Green, but certainly up there. So fresh in your mind. I read Betrayer a while ago. That's where I'm getting most of my source stuff from. So I'm just going over the little demon faces and things everywhere, so I can actually see them and I remember they're there, which I won't do because I'll forget, because I'm me. But it's important to show willing. Okay. I think we're getting to the point where I'm going to introduce that new paint. Some of you will have seen it before. The paint that I thoroughly recommend people get. There's an entire range. Well, it's around about 8 of these paints. But they are well worth getting, and that is from Monument Hobbies. You can get this from Element Games and all sorts of places. Pro Acrylic Transparent, which does that, apparently. Getting excitable. And what that will do is it will go on quite cleanly and change the hue of what we've got there and bring it into a more sort of reddy crimson. I mean, it's already fairly reddy crimson at the moment, but you'll see what this does to it. And this will just tie everything together. I mean, it looks fairly stark when you first put it on, but it will dry and even out and blend everything together. It is amazing stuff. I should really stop putting things over that side of things. So, bear with me, ladies and gents. I've only been doing this a couple of months. I should really know better, but I don't. And if you pop this stuff down, again, you don't need to be too neat. Nothing I do requires being too neat. That is kind of my thing. It's the thing that sets me apart from the likes of Duncan Rhodes and Squidmar and Darren Latham, is that I can knock out okay good looking miniatures in a reasonable amount of time with minimum amount of fuss, and I'm actually taking a little bit more time than I normally would over this miniature because it's a character. But I'm all about getting things table ready without worrying about looking like it'll win a golden demon, because it won't. And let's be honest, I'm not even going to enter a golden demon at any point, so why would I worry about display quality miniatures? It's not what I paint miniatures for, they're gaming pieces. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. You see what I mean? This goes on really smoothly. And dries really quickly. And just marrows everything together. So those stark lines of contrast between the Rhinox and the corn are gone. And it just changes the hue to a more reddy colour. Amazing stuff. I mean, there's other things you can use it for, obviously, but this tends to be what I tend to use it for. It mixes well with contrast medium, which means you end up with a kind of a contrast paint effect, which is really handy. And it comes in a selection of primary colours, which means you can mix your own. Not that you can't mix your own with contrast paints, but it gives you the building blocks. However, I would suggest that where possible you avoid mixing colours if you're painting an awful lot of miniatures for an army. Not because it's hard to do, but it can be quite hard to replicate afterwards if you're not very precise about your measurements that you're using for the various colours. It doesn't tend to matter so much on things like Chaos, but if you're painting the boring Codex chapters like the Ultramarines, if there's one company is a slightly different colour to another, it does kind of, it's quite off-putting. There we go. Lovely. Brush a bit of a wash. Oh, get this horrible thing off my head for a bit. And reach for my reading glasses. Ooh. Just knock everything flying, why don't you? Ooh, I can see things on the screen, like a Discord URL. That's what I can see. I'm sure the eagle-eyed amongst you will already have seen that, and will be feverishly pushing it into your Discord machines, or not. Yeah, I'll leave it there for a bit longer. I think we're getting to the point where we're going to need to apply some wash to this. So that's what we're going to do. Where is my brown liquid? Brown liquid. Are you my brown liquid? You are not my brown liquid. Where is my brown liquid? Mick, where did I put my brown liquid? Oh, not paying attention. Oh, there it is. This is my brown liquid. A secret concoction involving brown liquid. And it functions like this is acrylic, and this is not oils. I know I've been using a lot of oils recently, but this is not oils, this is acrylic. It is a secret concoction that should bring everything together. I need one of these little carafe type things. What? I was asking where my brown stuff is, but you know where it is now. Brown liquid, it's here. I found it. You're too late, man. Too late. But before I apply that, let's have a bit of black. It's no good to me. I need a bit of what? Sad panda is an invalid. What? What? I made that not an hour ago. How is that in 6? Oh, ugh. All right. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Oh, you can't get the staff. You just can't. Some people have got in. Oh, honestly. Try it again, Crane. Where are we? Server settings. No, not there. Invite people. Copy. Text. Edit invite link. Generate new link. Copy. Paste. No, it's the same. It's just give me the same link each time. That works. L2 type. Yeah, that's nothing to do with the link. That works. Offline. See you connected. I can see you. You're offline. You're there, mate. You're in the channel. You can see that. Oh, damn it! What was I about to do? Brown stuff. Right. There we are. Brown stuff. Whoop, secret. User error. Yeah. Pebcac. No, I wasn't doing that. That was about to be a pebcac as well. I was doing stuff with this, wasn't I? Typhus corrosion. Oh. Does everyone know what Cran does for a living, by the way? I know. Right, bit of typhus corrosion around some of the rims of the shoulder pads. Don't need to be neat with this because, you know, grime is not neat. Some typhus corrosion on that as well. A little bit around there, a little bit around there, and this stuff doesn't matter if it goes over onto the plate sections at all. It just adds to the griminess of it all. Just spot it on, especially around the bottom of the legs, where your marine's been running through mud and grime and all sorts of other fun stuff like that. Give it sort of a muddy effect around the bottom. I'm doing this now because the brown liquid I've got will tie this all together and add definition and all sorts of interesting stuff like that. So it doesn't need to be quite that defined on there. Just on the edge of the smock type loincloth thing as well, because Chaos Marines are dirty. Dirty Marines. Not as dirty as Nurgle though. These guys actually bathe. You go through buckets of this stuff when you're painting Plague Marines. Buckets of it. Because the Lord of Plague and Corrosion is all about, well, plague and corrosion. And, you know, it's called typhus corrosion, so how could you not? You know? Right, those of you on Discord, there is more to see. But I'll sort you out with those rolls in a bit. Busy at the moment. Right, what was I doing? Ah, brown stuff, brown liquid. Secret formula of good. All acrylic. And this just goes on. Typhus corrosion done yet? It looks kind of dry. You just slather this on basically. This is, it works. I don't know if you're familiar with Army Painter paints at all. They do something that does almost the same thing but with a gloss finish, and that's not that. There. But it's not that. But it's a similar sort of thing. This has a kind of a gloss finish, which is not what I was after. So I've made up a matte version of it. That said, because this is power armor, I could easily have used the quick shade, because it's going over metal and it's going over ceramite, but it's also going over skulls and it's going over loincloths. It's going over everything. I'm going to get a bigger brush. We're going to need a bigger brush. There we are. There we are. That's it. Get it all up into the crevices and the crooks and nannies. Straight over the face. So you can see where the detail is almost instantly there. And onto that stuff. I might put the recipe for this on Discord. because it is good stuff to have in your arsenal. Don't know what you heard. That ties everything together in a cohesive way that just Agrax will not, and just Nuln will not, and just Seraphim Sepia will not. It is the good. This stuff is fantastic on Necrons, by the way. It does everything you need it to do. At some point I'm going to have to do some Necrons for the channel. Do a nice 20-minute long tutorial on Necron painting, but I really don't know what I'm going to do for the other 19 minutes. There we go. All tied together, all juicy and good. Get your finger in there. Get your finger in there. Which is what she said. Sorry, children. Right. That kind of needs to dry now. But you can see the style is approaching similar, but this looks better. So let's see what that formula will do to one of the old miniatures. Get that on his face. Instantly dusky, instantly grimdark. There we are, get that over there. Secret formula. Look at that. Put the finger in there. A bit more painting with it. There we are. Lovely jubbly. Yeah. Right, dusky we wanted, wasn't it? It was definitely dusky. Dusky skin. So look what that's done to the old miniature. It's just popped it. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Get some on there as well. There we are. Lovely. Lovely. Give that a bit of a wash. Time we on? Nearly been going 2 hours. I shall probably call it a day soon because that's going to take a little while to dry. So there's not much more I can do to him. But you know, word bearers. That's what they look like. Kind of wordy and bearery. And they carry the word, and they correct and unify and get viciously betrayed by the Emperor and punished by the Emperor and his lapdog Gilliman for being a little bit too efficient in converting planets to serve the Empire, the Imperium. So basically, they got punished for being too good and employing tactics that the entire Imperium employs now. But nobody said sorry. No, not to Lorgar. No. They decimated his legion and called him a traitor. And nuked one of his finest cities flat. But you know, Ultramarines are the good guys. And I've completely forgotten what I was going to do. What was I going to do? Gosh, I'm good at this. What was I going to do? I was going to... That was it. Cough myself into an early grave. Snake whatever. Dusky skin. And depending on how much you dilute it or don't dilute it, you can alter the level of dusk. But it appears we've still got, and he's looking fairly, that colour's looking fairly bony at the moment, which is not what we want. Dry! Dry, you freak! Dry. Oh, come on. Dry. Tissue, come on. Oh, there it is. I found something I lost. Lens cloth. If you've got one of these handy, they're very useful for dabbing things off miniatures because they don't leave bits of fluff everywhere. Exactly, Chris. Yes. If you want it done fast, do you want it done fast or do you want it done right? Exactly. You build an Imperium or a version of the Imperium that people want to follow rather than feel they have to. Well, Lorgar's approach was to do the latter and sort of migrate it to the former, but you know, potato. So yeah, it's a bit of that master medium and a bit of snakebite leather contrast paint. Just slap that all over there. And you get the lovely sort of dark tanned deserty dusky skin. Which you can then go over again. With the brown liquid if you must. Touch, just to get a bit of highlight on there. Like that. And you can mix in a bit of wildwood to get a darker complexion if you want. Like I say, I'm not complex. I don't like things complex. So if I can do it quick and easy, I'll do it quick and easy. whilst I'm reaching for contrast, I'll do it again. And I'll use some of this skeleton horde on some of the bone areas that I've got. But they don't need much, because after that application of the brown liquid, it's all looking fairly bony anyway. Which is cool. But this adds extra contrast and depth to it. And that may end up being black anyway, like I say, because I'm going to do the... Am I really going to do that? I might do. Not on the video though. Because that's going to take a bit more concentration than I can manage whilst talking to everyone as well. I'll put that paint away that I needed. Back out with the snake bite leather. Using it neat this time because I've just spotted some, well, leather. There we are. Pop that in there. There we are. He's looking proper grungy, dim and dark, isn't he? I'm going to bring the light up on his. We've still got some wraith bones somewhere. No, I think I'll put that away. I'm going to bring the light level up on his loincloth a bit, but not too much, so just a little bit of highlight. So what we've done is basically we've done the mid-tone, we've knocked everything down with an all-over shade of this, and then we're going back in with the mid-tone and using that as a highlight, which is a fairly common technique. Fast technique anyway. It's something even the Games Workshop studio and their Infinite Wisdom recommend doing, but don't actually do. So we're getting building the contrast levels back up again, so that the things that are cloth actually read as cloth and are actually distinct from the shading. A slight dry brush over the top of that skull as well, just to give the sense of bone. Those skulls as well. I don't know what I'm going to do with that demon skull. Demon face on his other leg there. Yeah. That looks alright actually. As is. That looks alright. I might leave that. And it's kind of aged metal, doesn't it? Very cool. Yeah, we'll leave that as is. Right, okay, what else are we going to do? We're going to do a bit of buffing with the wraith bone, just to bring some highlight back to that shoulder pad. Do it the same on the other one a little bit, just to bring back the highlight. Having a quick look from the point of origin of the theoretical light on the miniature as well, just to make sure I've got the highlights in the right place. Kind of want a bit more there. Oh, not too much. Too much! There's too much paint on that brush, that's why. Too much paint on your brush. Here's a problem you need to be aware of. Never a good thing. So that's what what you use your thumb for. And even the pros do that. That's not just me being filthy. That's even the pros do that. You use their thumbnail or their thumb just to get a bit of the paint off the brush. I'm sure I've been over this before well, I know I've been over this on a couple of my videos. You get a lot of people who wear nitrile gloves and things like that for painting, but no. My hands can be washed. Nitrile gloves sit on the landfill forever. You know, even the biodegradable ones will be there for a good couple of decades, and my hands wouldn't be, even if they were removed and put on a landfill. Bottom line is, I'm biodegradable. Nitrile gloves aren't. So there's my green credentials, about the only ones I've got, but I do try to do at least part of my bit. Right. So I'm just going back over the miniature and just with the wraith bone, adding little bits of highlight to bring back the contrast. Again, not being too neat, because you don't need to be. Just giving the sense of light and shade. Now, I'm quite liking the dulled down metal on there, but if you wanted to bring that back, okay, for the purposes, I'll do that. Metallic paint has no business on a wet palette. Because it will filter into the water and infest all of your paints, which is not what you want. Right, okay, so we've got a little bit of the duraluminum. And we can literally just go around putting a little bit of metal spot highlights just to bring back that sense of it being, well, metal. If you get the bright metal on areas that would be quite worn, like the what passes for a charging handle on the bolter. Just around the edge of that as well, because that'll get quite worn. You can get little flashes of metallic. I'll just bring back the sense of it being fairly shiny without having to go over the top. Because even when metal's corroded, if it's been bashed against something, the corrosion's going to knock off and you're going to get bright metal underneath. So just little spots, tiny little spot highlights, broken up bits around the very edges of the metal. And these are going to catch the light and sell. And just trick the eye into thinking everything around is shiny. Australasian colours for the word bearers is red and silver. So you kind of want it, excuse me, selling as a little bit silver. Blooming Eye of Horus on everything. I think I pretty much decided that even though it's a symbol of the Black Legion, it's probable, seeing as the heresy took place under the War Master, that a lot of the Marines would have adopted the Eye of Horus as an emblem of the rebellion, I suppose, of the resistance, and stuck it all over their armour. So even if the Marine in this armour isn't that old, the armour may well be. So let's give it a little bit of that shine back with minimal effort. You're just knocking in little bits of silver here and there. Try not to get too much on the armour itself, the red areas, because contrary to popular thinking, the armour's not actually made of metal. So if you wear the paint away from power armour, you're not going to get bright metal underneath. It's a weird ceramic colour. I'm not entirely sure what colour that ceramite is, but it's one thing it is not is silver. So just be a little bit circumspect when it comes to silver on the armour sections. Let's see what I'm doing. Just adding little touches of silver in there, where the trim might have knocked against something and worn off a bit of the corrosion, and you're getting a little bit of that underlying bright metal showing through. I'd say less is more, but I tend to go about OTT on these things, simply because it adds contrast and interest. And if you're aiming for your miniature to look good at arm's length, about 3 or 4 feet away, if you've got particularly long arms, then it helps to get as much contrast in as possible between light and shade. Of course, on the axe, this is a power axe, so I have to do something dodgy with that anyway. Once more, don't be afraid to get your fingers involved. So, silver along the edges of the weapon. Where it's been sharpened. What am I going to do with that to make it look like a power weapon? What have I done with my other power weapons? He says, reaching for miniatures that have no power weapons. Oh, that's really helpful. Well done, Moog. That would mean going into the other room. I think that's 2 hours I've been going. So I think I'm going to call it a day there, actually. So I think we've got a lot of progress done there. I'm more or less okay with that. It certainly looks good and in keeping with the rest of the army at a distance. I mean, He's obviously unfinished, but he looks like he fits with the rest of them, so I'm okay with that. Yeah. Right. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed that and maybe found something useful out that's going to help you in your painting. Same time, same place next week, I think. Of course, I'm on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my Moog's Little Figures. I've got a Patreon tip jar, so if you want to look for Moog's Little Figures on that. I've set it up for the minimum amount that it will let me set it up for, and it's charged up front, so if you want to sub up and then cancel immediately, that's fine by me. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night at that point and get some much needed sleep. I hope to see you again next week. Bye for now.